Part of the fiscal agency operations, which total about $20 billion a year, is the cancellation of Treasury securities received in exchange and redemption transactions. This machine is canceling such securities prior to shipment to the Treasury Department. Another fiscal agency service the bank performs is the collection and processing of employees' withheld income and Social Security taxes. Here, federal tax receipts are being punched with pertinent information. These receipts are then sorted according to serial numbers. The punch cards are fed into the machine automatically and dropped into the proper pockets according to the information on the card. On this tabulator, the receipt cards are listed to create a journal of the day's work. The tax receipts are then authenticated on this counting machine. Then they are returned to the employers for transmittal to the Director of Internal Revenue with the tax return. Savings bonds are photographed on microfilm in rapid succession. The same procedure is followed for bonds which have been reissued or redeemed directly by us. This enclosing machine takes an inscribed bond from the stack, puts it in a franked window envelope, and seals it. The savings bond is now ready to be mailed to its purchaser. Acting as fiscal agent for Uncle Sam, you can see, is a big business. Approximately $1.5 billion in savings bonds transactions are handled at the bank's 3 offices each year. The check collection departments of the 3 offices in the 4th District handle over 1 million checks totaling in excess of $340 million each business day. Checks are received by messenger, mail, air express, and air freight. This graduated scale gives a quick but accurate count of incoming checks. A group of college students making a tour of the bank pauses to watch the operation of a proof machine. At this machine, the check sorting process begins. The operator records the amount of the check, then presses a button which routes the check to one of 32 pockets. This first sorting divides checks alphabetically, according to the city on which they are drawn. The master tape shows all the items listed, and 32 tapes show items going to each pocket. The operator attaches the proper tape and sets the bundle aside for further sorting. The check collection departments in the 3 offices process thousands of postal money orders each working day. The operator keys in the amount of the money order, and the machine automatically punches it. 5 mornings a week, messengers from local banks bring checks drawn on each other to the clearinghouse in the Cleveland Federal Reserve Bank for sorting, totaling, and settling. One of the important functions of the Federal Reserve Bank is the extension of credit to banks. This officer of a bank is discussing details for a loan to his bank. He intends pledging as security certain United States government bonds held in safekeeping at the Cleveland Federal Reserve. He completes and signs the note and lists the pledged securities. To facilitate such transactions, the banker may prefer to make such a request for a loan by mail or telephone and send his signed note by mail. The banker could also pledge eligible commercial paper or other satisfactory collateral. The availability of Federal Reserve credit to member banks enables them to build up or replenish their reserves and to meet their customers' borrowing needs. This $1 million United States bond is part of the Federal Reserve System's holdings in which this bank shares. The Federal Open Market Committee acts for the system to purchase and sell government securities in open market operations, and thus may add to or withdraw from commercial bank reserves according to the credit needs of the nation. Most member banks take advantage of the free safekeeping service. In addition to the safety of the vault, the securities held here are readily accessible for delivery if sale is desired. This bank buys and sells securities for member banks at their request. Here an officer is handling one of these transactions. Members of the bank's vault staff double-check the stock of government securities held in the vault for member banks. This safekeeping service eliminates the necessity of a member bank holding securities in its vault and saves shipping expenses in forwarding securities to us when they reach maturity. The Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland holds about $2.5 billion in such securities for safekeeping. Coupons due on bonds held for safekeeping are clipped within the vault, and the dollar amount is credited to the member bank's account. The Federal Reserve System maintains a network of private leased wires for quick and confidential communication between all reserve banks and branches by teletype. An important service to member banks is the transfer by wire of funds and government securities to almost any section of the United States. The bank maintains a library of more than 8,000 volumes devoted to banking information and collects numerous facts pertinent to industry and commerce. Professional economists analyze statistics and business trends. Charts, graphs, and information prepared from this research are released to member banks, newspapers, and radio and TV stations. The research department publishes the monthly Business Review and weekly Business Trends, both of particular value to the business world. Groups of bankers, businessmen, and others frequently lunch with our officers in the dining room of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. This is a group of bankers. A competent personnel staff interviews applicants for employment and places employees in jobs for which they are best suited. Doctors and nurses carefully watch the health of our employees by giving periodic medical examinations. The cafeterias at our 3 offices serve good food at employees every working day. The employees' library contains popular reading material, both books and magazines, for their use. A comfortable lounge is provided for relaxation during off-duty hours. From the promenade just off the 10th floor lounge at the main office, there's a magnificent view of the lakefront and the metropolitan area of Cleveland. These business executives have completed their tour. They will return to their offices with a better understanding of the work of a reserve bank. Safety is the watchword in day-to-day operations at the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, from the moment the vault door opens in the morning until it is safely closed at night. The huge vault door contains 4 time clocks. Any one of them will release the vault door mechanism, but for safety, all 4 are set. At the end of the day, an officer of the bank checks the time clock settings to make certain that the door will open on time the next working day. The guardrails are broken, the electrical cable is disconnected and pulled inside. The bridges to the vault are lifted and the door frame carefully dusted. This is necessary to remove any object which might cause the door to jam. The main bridge is raised, and in a moment, the great door will close to end another working day devoted to the service of banking, industry, agriculture, and commerce in the 4th Federal Reserve District by the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland.